Hi everybody. Today I'm going to share with you another case in this series of the business Feng Shui. Now in this particular case was shared to me by the owner, so it's a real genuine case. And the story that I'm going to tell you is as what the owner has told me. Okay. Now the reason the owner wants to share this case with me, and hopefully that I also share this to the public, is for several reasons. Number one, in his bad experience, he would like to bring awareness to people and why finding a real Feng Shui master is so important, especially if you believe in Feng Shui and you are serious about it. Secondly, he hopes that people do not suffer like him because he went through the wrong path, he learned his mistake. It's a very costly mistake, but it's a mistake that he learned over the years. And also, he hopes that to bring Feng Shui a good name, even though he has suffered in the hands of Feng Shui, or bad Feng Shui. That's not because that he does not believe in Feng Shui. He still believes very much in Feng Shui. It's just that perhaps he did not find the right, and so that is the reason why he wanted to share his very sad case. Okay, so let's get down to the story. So what actually happened? About 7-8 years ago, the owner actually engaged a very famous Feng Shui master around town in Malaysia, because he wanted to move to a new place and hopefully to have better business, because over the years actually they did enjoy good business, and in fact their business grew, and because of that growth the place was actually being saturated. The previous office was being saturated, so they wanted to find a bigger place for a bigger team, to accommodate bigger team, right? So that's the reason and the motive behind engaging this behind this exercise of engaging a master. But of course, in this world today, fame attracts people, right? And that's why he was attracted to this so-called famous Feng Shui master. So he paid a very good price. It's a five-figure price, and that five figure doesn't start with a one. Okay, so it starts beyond a one. And so in hope that because he believes that even if it's going to be costly, but because he's a staunch believer of Feng Shui, he know that in business this money can come back in just no time, right? As long you hit the business, you get it back. That is really a small matter. So I commend this person, because in the sense that he has a really a businessman thinking, right? He's not those penny wise pound foolish type. Well, maybe he did not have a good luck, but anyway, so he scouted a few properties and he presented to this master to do the selection, and finally out of the few the master selected one and said, okay, this is the best Feng Shui, so choose this one. So he said, okay, fine, I'll listen to your recommendation, and he chose this one. He took the law pan, he did some measurement, of course, around the site. So in this sense it's correct, because I think the owner also is an experienced person, because he would engage a master to do a pre-selection, which is correct actually, because it is important that you select the right place first, right? And so in that belief that since the recommend when they first came in until today has shrunk by 2/3, so you can imagine the scale of the business, how badly it has been affected, right? So when I was there, I managed to take a look and spotted some of the things that I will share with you in a short while. But I noted one thing. I said that 2015 would be a bad year for you. So the owner actually told me 2015 was indeed a very bad year. They had a huge loss, and because of that they had to sell their old building, the one that the office, the previous office that was owned by them, in order to get the money to save the company. So the losses is definitely is more than 6 digits losses, right? So it's very very sad, right? Because 6 digit losses is a lot, and it could mean 1 or 2 years salary for many people. Okay, and so we had a survey of the place and how the celeb master did the feng shui. Now, I personally find that there's a couple of questions that gone through my mind. Why did he particularly choose this unit? Of course, I did not have a chance to see the other units that was given to him to select. But based on this unit itself, by the measurement of the Lopan, the geomancy compass, I noticed that this place, the chi is not very stable. So if I were the master that he selected many years ago, I would definitely not recommend this place, because when the chi is unstable, usually this type of feng shui is very hard to get a good and stable energy over the years. Okay, so that's one of the things that I think one of the key mistake that I noticed. Okay, and then surprisingly is that because the guardhouse, the entry into the factory, was located on the left hand side. So, well, many feng shui master will call this the green dragon side, right? And usually people like green dragon because green dragon is thought to be wealth enhancing. That is very common in the old Sanhe school, right? The Sanhe school uses this a lot, and that's why many authors have said this. But in the Sanyuan school, typically the Flying Star school, we do not necessarily have to stick to this concept of green dragon and white tiger. Naturally, if I will be doing this unit, I would not do it on the green dragon side. I would rather choose the white tiger side. So this is very important because the incoming chi is very important. That's the first step. That's the first level of energy that comes into your property, right? And you want good energy that comes in. You don't want detrimental energy, or we call sa chi, destructive energy. Because when you get destructive energy in your property, over the years, it will decline, definitely, right? A lot of problems, people problems, financial problems, and things like that. So definitely, this is the second point that I noticed, right? Then when we went into the office, he took me around to see his office as well as the CFO's office, right? I'm astonished because how the disciple lay out the rooms for the two key people in a bad energy sector. I really don't understand. Maybe they have too many theories, right? So they think that whether theory 1, theory 2, theory 3, there's a lot of masters in the market. They use Sanhe, they use a little bit of Flying Star, they use a little bit of Pa Chai, and a lot of divination, I Ching divination. So they mix everything in one plate. So of course this is very convincing, right? Because you have more things to talk about, more rooms. Just like you use a shotgun, one bullet has 90 pellets inside. One shot, you don't need to aim. Likely you're gonna get it, right? But the problem is that when you get the prediction right, that doesn't mean anything, because sometimes you have too many theories in hand. So how do you know which theory takes precedence in this particular case? So I guess because of that confusion, they put them in the bad energy sector. So that's why the energy is not good. You will cause wealth losses as well as not only that, you can also draw in a lot of sickness, accidents, and things like that, right? So I'm really astonished why the negative chi sector was given to the two most important person. And I think the only possible reason that I can think of is because most practitioners today, they mix a lot of method. So when they mix, the prediction part, the initial part will sound convincing, but unfortunately you cannot get the right kill. It's not like a sniper, one bullet, one target. They are using like a shotgun, one bullet, many targets, or maybe one thing they will get it right. So that's why I always caution people, when you know the master is using a lot of methods, then likely the repeatability is going to be low, because sometimes they get right, sometimes they don't, because how would they know which method will work at which time, in which case, right? So this is the other mistake that I saw. And the only reason why 2015 was a bad year for them is because if you look at the distribution of stars, you will find that all the negative stars actually centered around the key areas, and that's why this is when things happen. Well, a lot of people think that flying star is just for divination. Then if they say that, it shows me only one thing, that their level of flying star is very superficial. They only know the skin deep part of the flying star. Flying star system is one of the very strong Sun Yuan system. It's very, very good for buildings, people live, businesses and things like that. It's a very powerful one, right? Because not only because of its inherent accuracy in prediction, but if you know how to lay out according to the correct Sun Yuan principles, you will also see long-term results, positive results. Okay, so this is the nature of Feng Shui. Sometimes when you sit in a bad office, that doesn't mean that bad things won't happen. Small bad things will happen, but it will accumulate. But the real event, the real shock will come in certain years because of the rotation of the stars. So if you look at the chart, actually, if you look at the chart, right, you will see that the two star number 2 and 7 is in the southeast and the south sectors. The star number 5 is in the west, and star number 4 is in the northwest. So these 4 stars in the right position actually caused the big problem. And of course, naturally, the owner was taken aback a little bit, because how would I know that 2015 would be the big problem that came? This is the powerfulness of the flying star system, right? Because if it's able to predict, it's able to solve your problem. We don't use flying star to predict and then use system B to solve your problem. It just doesn't jive. It's just like you can't buy a Nissan engine and fit into the Toyota body perfectly without any modification. It's just not right. Principally, it's just not right. Okay, but how they can come to this, that beats me. Maybe this is commercialization of Feng Shui. Okay, anyway, so when all the external and internal qi, all the bad negative external and internal qi that comes in at the right place at the right timing, that's when the situation will happen. Okay, so in conclusion, in this case, is that sometimes fame doesn't equate knowledge, at least not in the Feng Shui world. Maybe you can say that in a singing world, in the acting world, yeah, but it does not apply in Feng Shui. Okay, that's one of the things that, so a lot of times you as an owner, you have to ask yourself, what do you want actually out of this Feng Shui audit? You want positive results, or you want fame? Because you have a famous person beside you, you feel very nice, happy, at ease, maybe take some photos or whatever, So what do you want out of the audit? Think about it. Then you answer yourself before you decide. Okay? And very sadly is that because of bad Feng Shui, this person has suffered huge losses. The business has shrunk. They have suffered more than 6-figure losses. There's definitely 6-figure losses. Over the years accumulated, I think maybe more than 7 figures, right? Maybe it's already 7 figures. And not only the money, right? Money is one thing, but what about the time? You have lost 7 years of your life, right? And time, you cannot get it back. You cannot buy back time, right? I don't care if you are the Tan Sri or the Dato Sri, but it doesn't make any sense. You cannot buy back time. What is lost is lost. Reputation, emotional stress over the last 7 years. If you're lucky, that emotional stress will not bring you sickness, terminal illness. What if it does? 7 years of stress, It can bring you terminal illnesses, right? So these are a lot of effects that you need to consider. Sometimes don't think of the pennies, because sometimes getting the wrong person to do it is going to be costly. I assure you, it's going to be costly, damn costly. If you're lucky, you don't get into bankruptcy. So that's the reason why the owner wanted to share, and that's my sharing. Of course, I'm not going to go into very detail because this is not a technical session, but these are just real stories that I want to share with you and that the owner would like to share with you. So I hope that if you find this video useful, you share it with your friends who are in business, so hopefully they don't fall into the same problem or like this unfortunate owner. But today I think his luck has changed, so definitely he's going to improve his life. Okay, that's all for the sharing today. If you like, do subscribe to our video channel, give it a like, share out to your friends you can help them, and you can make a positive change in somebody's life. Thank you. Bye.